Alright, so there's a new Ninja Turtles movie for the first time in a while. Gotta say, I've always found the Ninja Turtles incredibly cool, and I'm a fan of the franchise, but it's actually hard to say why exactly when looking at the filmography. As a kid, sure, the 90s live action ones were cool and fun, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that they're amazing movies or anything. And since then, none of the animated ones were that great in my opinion either. It's mostly been like video games and shit keeping the franchise relevant. Until now, that is, thankfully, because this movie was actually good. Let's start with the animation, which was awesome. Obviously, this movie is using the Spider-Verse style animation, and it works really well for these characters too. There's enough subtle differences that it doesn't exactly look the same as the Spider-Man movies, which is good. It's got its own flair to it. It's a lot darker than the Spider-Man movies, like visually, I mean, not content-wise, obviously. It takes place primarily at night, so there's some really cool lighting effects throughout the city as they're moving around NYC. The voice cast is also really good. I didn't know this was such a big budget project with so many notable voice actors going in. And normally I'm not a huge fan of using quote-unquote regular actors for animated roles instead of specialized voice actors, but they actually did a great job in this film of not just having the voice actors sound exactly like themselves normally. Most of them blend in really well, and it didn't take me out of the immersion like what happened with the Mario movie, for example. The voice actors for the Turtles themselves were definitely the standouts. They have great chemistry, and they actually do feel like teenagers in this one, which is good. It actually feels like a group of friends hanging out and just riffing. I don't know if any of their scenes were improvised at all dialogue-wise, but it definitely felt like it, which is a good thing. All the Turtles' individual personalities really come through. Jackie Chan was also a perfect choice for Splinter. It actually took me a while to place his voice. He had a ton of hilarious lines too. The action was really fun in the movie as well. Just like Into the Spider-Verse, it feels like a comic book come to life. Of course, it's pretty lighthearted, but there's definitely a few intense moments too. The highlight for me was probably when Splinter takes on like 10 guys at once in the science lab. The pacing was also very good. They put enough origin story in there that someone who's never even heard of Ninja Turtles will pretty much be filled in from this movie alone. But they also didn't waste any time and got straight to the point in the central conflict. If anything, I'd probably actually say it could have been like 10 to 15 minutes longer, but I understand the audience for this is largely going to be kids with short attention spans. Obviously, in a Ninja Turtles movie, comedic relief is very important, so I was glad this movie actually was funny and not just in a children-friendly way. There's plenty of material for the adults too that will just go over kids' heads. With that said though, the one criticism I would have for this movie is they definitely like overcommitted a bit to having the Turtles come across as millennial teens in present day. What I mean by that is like, frequently in movies, they're supposed to be taking place in the real world, right? So they'll have characters drop references to various things from pop culture, usually other movies or TV shows, etc. When used sparingly, it can be effective and increase the sense of immersion. And I think for kids, it's especially fun to have the characters talk about something that you enjoy, and it makes the characters more relatable. But man, they really overdid it in this movie. There were so many references to things from our world, everything from Cool Ranch Doritos to Attack on Titan, to the point that it became grating and kind of started to feel like some of it might have just been like not that subtle product placement. Like it makes sense, you know, if Donatello, for example, goes, yeah, this is just like playing Xbox or something fairly general like that. But to take it so far as them borderline being like, wow, this reminds me of all the fun I had playing Forza Horizon TM, available now. It just came across as corny after a while. I think they could have removed like half the references to real world stuff and it still would have been plenty. That's a pretty small gripe though, and overall this was definitely a great movie. It's got something for everyone. If you have kids that have never seen Ninja Turtles before this movie, they'll enjoy it. And if you're an old school fan from the 90s, there's plenty of characters and callbacks in there for you too. Seems like there's pretty much a sequel guaranteed already, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got with this one. Definitely a good time. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought of it in the comments. And if you got a minute to like and subscribe, that'd be dope. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.